Good morning. My name is Jordy Highland, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Online Programs. I just wanted to thank the student speakers for their courage and words today. Those were truly moving and wonderful. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Adam Saenz, your commencement keynote speaker. Dr. Saenz is a counselor, psychologist, and author. As a youth, Dr. Saenz struggled with drugs, discipline, and even spent time in jail. However, Dr. Saenz turned his life around after encouragement from some teachers. Dr. Saenz went on to earn a PhD from Texas A&M and study at Harvard and Oxford. Dr. Saenz's life story is truly an inspiration to all of us. Dr. Saenz, welcome to UMA.
Good morning. You guys have been sitting for a minute. Why don't y'all stand up for a second? Everybody stand up. Graduates, stand up. Here's the deal. Congratulations, you did the work. You just scored the winning goal. But you know what? These folks surrounding you right now, the family, your friends, faculty, staff, they're the one that fed you the ball to make that shot possible. So I think a little bit of gratitude and thank you is in order. So do me a favor, give them a hand, would you, and say thank you. There you go. Thank you all. Thank you all. Have a seat. Ultimate Medical Academy leaders, Mr. Derek Aponovich, Mr. Steve Kemmler, Mr. David Heibloom, UMA faculty and staff, proud family, friends, and most importantly, UMA graduates. Thank you for allowing me to share this morning with you. In 1980, I was an 11-year-old Latino male living in a single-parent home, low income. I had undiagnosed depression. I was using street drugs to self-medicate. My older brother was on the verge of dropping out of high school, and I spent most of 6th grade either walking to the principal's office or walking from the principal's office. 3 things happened to me that year that made my life pretty difficult. First thing that happened, 2 of my friends went to go buy some drugs. There was a shootout, and my friends were murdered. Second thing that happened that was related to that is that a group of young men broke into my home, they restrained me, and they sexually assaulted my cousin. Third thing that happened to me is that I was arrested for possession. And I remember the look on my mom's face. I'll never forget the anger in her face when she came to juvenile to pick me up. And the first words out of her mouth were, "What are you doing here? Mijito, what are you doing here?" And it wasn't a question of action. What am I doing? Well, I'm just sitting in this chair with these handcuffs digging into my wrist. That's not what she was asking. It was a question of identity. And I remember thinking, what a stupid question to ask me. Are you kidding me? What am I doing here? I know who I am. I'm never going to make it through a single day. It's my job to make your life hell. I'm never going to learn. I know who I am. What am I doing here? Where else would I be? What else would I be doing? Well, Child Protective Services was never involved with my family, but my mom, she could read the writing on the wall. She knew that I had an older brother that was about to drop out of high school and things didn't look good for me. So she voluntarily relinquished parental rights, and I went to live with another family in a town that was several hundred miles away from everything I grew up. And I actually did pretty well with that family through junior high and high school. But after high school, I was on my own. I was living in San Antonio. I was working as a dishwasher in a fast food restaurant. I was sleeping on the floor of a garage apartment. Everything I owned, and it wasn't much, fit into the bottom half of a hallway closet. I had some clothes, I had a sleeping bag, a pillow, and a box of journals. And then that's when the bottom fell out. My depression was out of control. I was using drugs again to self-medicate. And I remember thinking, I wasn't suicidal, but I remember thinking, are you kidding me? I'm 20 years old. I'm 20 years old. I'm sleeping on somebody's floor. I'm using drugs. I'm working as a dishwasher. I got no future. But I've got another 60 years of this life to live. You know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I remember coming home from work one morning. It was about 3 a.m. I'd closed the restaurant. I was really tired. I was really depressed. And I said, you know what? I need to pull out my journal. I just need to write some thoughts out. And I remember as I reached into my journal box to pull out my journal, I saw these pieces of paper in the box and couldn't figure out what they were. And I was blown away at what I found. They were letters that had been written to me by 2 of my teachers my senior year at Katy High School. This is part of what one of those letters said. Don't quit writing, especially in your journal. Someday it may be the basis for a book. You have insight, sensitivity, maturity, intelligence beyond your tender years. Keep being you. You're a special person. And it was signed by my creative writing teacher my senior year. Her name was Polly McRoberts. Then I pulled out the other letter, And this is part of what that letter said. You're extremely talented and intelligent, but most importantly, you have a good heart. I know you will use your talents to help your fellow man, and that's the most satisfying life a person can have. And it was signed by my English teacher, Joella Exley, my senior year at Katy High School. My goodness, those words just haunted me. And that's when the battle began, because I said, wait a minute, I know who I am. I know who I am. I'm a 19-year-old version of that 6th grade kid that's never going to make it through a single day, whose job it is to make your life hell, who's never going to learn. I'm using drugs, I'm working as a dishwasher, I'm sleeping on somebody's floor. I know who I am. But here were these two women for whom I had tremendous respect that were disagreeing with me. And because of who they were and the character they had and the way they interacted with us as students, I couldn't just blow them off. I knew that they would not have written those words to me if they didn't absolutely believe it. And so I was stuck. I went back and forth, back and forth. I think I know who I am, but here are these women that are saying something different. Who's right about me? So finally I said, you know what, I need to put this theory to the test. I need to figure out who I really am. I need to get to the bottom of this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell anybody about this because there's no way it's ever going to happen. But you know what, I'm going to try to get into college. I have no idea how you do that. None of my parents went to college. I don't know what that life's all about. But I remember I got onto the bus, went to the University of Texas at San Antonio, UTSA, stepped foot on campus, and man, I felt like such an outsider. I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. I'm an imposter. I was so shy, I wouldn't look anybody in the eye. So finally, I just went up to somebody and I said, how did you get into this place? How do you do this? Ended up in the bursar's office, the administration office. I was accepted under a provisional condition. Took my first course, and at the end of that semester, the end of that fall semester, I couldn't believe it. I passed my first remedial English course. I had earned a college credit. I was blown away. And I started thinking, you know what? Maybe my teachers were right about me. Maybe those women could see something in me that I couldn't see in myself. Maybe this was just a clerical error for all I know. I should probably take another class just to be sure, So I signed up for another class that spring, and I took it, and I passed it. And then I took another class, one in the summer, one in the fall, 2 in the spring, kept going, still working as a dishwasher, started waiting tables. And then you know what? Just before I turned 27 years old, I graduated with my undergraduate degree in English. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I was going to get a college degree. I never thought I was college material. There was no way. But here I was 27 years old, and I had this degree. And that's when it hit me. I said, you know what? They were right about me. My teachers, my educators, they could see something in me that I couldn't see in myself. So you're thinking, all right, you graduated, Adam, you got your degree. That's when life got good, right? Well, sorta. But you know what? What I realized was that after I walked the stage, a whole new struggle began. Because I realized that I was in uncharted territory. Nobody in my family had a degree. Nobody in my family had lived that life, and I realized I was forging a path. And it was exciting, but man, it was scary. I had no idea what to do. I felt so alone. I felt even more afraid than I had when I first stepped foot on campus. And it was a difficult time, and it's not like there were a lot of Latino males or females back in that day with college degrees that were living professional lives that I could go to and talk to. Eventually, I did find a mentor, and that mentor was very good to me. And looking back, I think I made it a lot more difficult than I had to if I'd have found a mentor sooner, but eventually I did find somebody. Well, what happened was my bachelor's degree led to a master's degree in counseling. My master's in counseling led to a doctorate in psychology. And you know what? That first doctorate was so much fun. I said, you know what? I'm going to get a second one. So I got a second doctorate degree. Thank you. So that's a little bit about my story. So what's my point in sharing my story? My point is this. I want to leave you with this word called valuation. Valuation. We do that with businesses, valuation. And it's a process of determining what that thing is worth. What's that business worth? You do valuation to establish that. And the bottom line is this: value determines function. Value determines function. If I think my chair is worth $5, I'm going to trash out that chair, and if I destroy it, no big deal, because I can just run out to Walmart and get another one. But if I know that my chair is an antique, if I know that it's special, if I know that it's rare and worth a lot of money, I'm not going to trash it out. I'm going to take care of it, because I know that it can't be replaced. And you know what? The same is true of human beings. The same is true of people. when I know my value as a human being, when I know what I'm capable of, I live as though my choices matter. And you know what? My teachers, my educators, Mrs. McRoberts and Mrs. Exley, they were my expert appraisers. They were the first people that ever gave me an honest appraisal of myself. They were the first ones that ever spoke truth to me about who I really was and what I really was capable of doing in this life. They had a tremendous impact, and because of their voice in my life and my heart, I began to live in my 20s as though my choices mattered. So now I've been married to my wife, Kim, for 20 years. We have 4 amazing children. They're all teenagers, so pray for Adam and Kim Saenz. Keep them in your prayers. We got 4 teenagers. I don't know what I signed up for. Now I'm a licensed psychologist, I'm an ordained minister, and I have 2 doctorate degrees with training at Harvard, Brown, and Oxford. Well, thank you. But you know what's so much more important than all that? I'm speaking to you today not as an academic, I'm speaking to you as somebody who has struggled and overcome. And as someone who has struggled and overcome, as a licensed psychologist, as an ordained minister, I think I'm an expert appraiser now. I can tell a lot about a person in 30 seconds. I could diagnose you just based on the phone message you leave me. So let me conclude my time with you by offering my valuation of you. You, who like me, grew up without. You who grew up like me, believing yourself to be inadequate, you're not. You are adequate. You who like me grew up believing yourself to be the wrong color, you're not. You're right where you need to be. You are who you need to be. You who grew up thinking you came from the wrong side of the tracks, you didn't. You grew up right where you needed to grow up. No mistake there. You think you're not smart enough, you think you're not attractive enough, you think you're not wealthy enough, you are. You can do it. You can absolutely do it, and you've already proven that you've taken that first step. So hear me. Just like me, you have a destiny. You have a calling. You have a purpose. You're on this planet for a reason, and there's no mistake about it. You have a mind, you have a heart, you have a future to walk into, and you have been gifted with talents, with education, with intelligence, with compassion, to write a future for your life that's worth living. And today you've completed an important step. Remember though that as soon as you walk the stage and get off on the other side with your diploma in your hand, you just turn the page and a new chapter starts. A whole new chapter starts for you. So I encourage you right away, find a mentor. I encourage you already, start dreaming about what your next dream is. What's your next goal? Find somebody that's doing what you want to do and get to know them. Ask them to mentor you. And don't be intimidated if they don't look like you, if they don't act like you, if they don't dress like you, if they don't speak like you. Most adults who are in their career and who have achieved something that's admirable, they would gladly mentor any young man or woman who is at least teachable and wanting to learn. So don't be intimidated. You decide what you want to do, you set your next goal, you find somebody that's already there, and I guarantee you they will take you under your wing, and it will make your life a lot more productive along the way. Find a mentor. Please find a mentor. Continue to seek your calling. Continue to give yourself the power and the passion and sell out to it completely. If you do that, I guarantee you, you will live well. You will live a life that is worth living. Thank you again for allowing me to share this opportunity to be with you on this special day. May God richly bless you as you move into the next chapter of your life. Take care. Thank you.